What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another tactics video. We're going to be looking at our new right back, Matt Doherty. We've signed him from Wolves for 13 million. Obviously, the right back situation has been a long-standing issue for Tottenham ever since we sold Kyle Walker. We've been looking to resolve this issue. We tried it with Serge Aurier. We tried it with Kieran Trippier, moving him to our first choice right back. Nothing has really worked. But finally, Tottenham have brought in a right back that has shown consistency in the Premier League over a fairly fair period of time, 2 years for Wolves, ever since they got promoted to the Premier League. We're going to be looking at what he can bring to Tottenham, what he's different at Serge Aurier, what he's better at than Serge Aurier, and maybe what he's worse at than Serge Aurier. And we'll look at what different dynamic he can bring to the team, and we'll look at his strengths as well. So we've signed him obviously for 13 million from Wolves. He plays predominantly as a right wing back in a 5-3-2 system for Wolves, with Adama Traore usually above him when they're playing wing back and winger. He's a fullback who likes to attack a hell of a lot. A lot has been made of his attacking statistics. He's, over the past 2 years, scored 15 goals and created 15 assists in all competitions over the past 2 years. That's also resulted in last season him scoring 4 goals and 3 assists just in the Premier League. When comparing him to Serge Aurier, the differences on how they like to attack. Obviously, the Tottenham under Jose Mourinho have liked to play this lopsided fullback system where the right back likes almost like a right wing back when we're in possession and defends in a back four when we're out of possession, whereas for Wolves he'll stick to his right wing back position in and out of possession, which means he has a lot more license to attack. And when he's playing for Wolves, when he's in or out of possession, he can stay a lot higher up the pitch, and he has a lot more license to get in the box. And that bore out in the statistics when you look at how many times Matt Doherty touched the ball inside the box. It was more than any other defender last season in the whole Premier League. He touched the ball inside the opposition penalty area more times than any other player. That shows the amount of license he has to attack compared to someone like Serge Aurier, who doesn't touch the ball in the penalty area anywhere near it as much as Doherty. And the way he likes to attack is he likes to get to the byline, he likes to get in between the width of the penalty area, outside the box, and he likes to put crosses in. Now, Matt Doherty is obviously a very offensive fullback, and his attacking numbers, when you break him down by game, are also very, very impressive. He had an expected goals figure of 0.22 per 90 minutes, which is actually up there with some wingers in the Premier League, which is really, really high for a defender. Expected goals is a number. Is a metric which is judged by how, when you have a shot in a certain position, how likely you are to score from that position, basically. And so 0.22 for a defender is really, really high. If you have an expected goal of 1, that means you'll expect to score 1 goal per game. So 0.22. If you look at comparing some of our wingers, Lucas Moura had 0.23 expected goals. So Matt Doherty is just as likely to score as Lucas Moura, apparently, which is really, really interesting. But if you look at his expected goals over the whole season, he had an expected goals of 7 goals, or more precise 6.9 throughout the whole season. So he really is a player who likes to get in the box. He is not much of a crosser. He doesn't cross as much as Serge Aurier, and that bears out in the assists as well. Serge Aurier, by the way, his expected goals is 0.02 compared to Matt Doherty's 0.22. So Matt Doherty is a lot more likely to get a goal and to be turning up at the back post. That's what was one of his big roles for Wolves in their system. He likes to arrive at the back post, get tap-ins, and he's actually more of a poacher when Wolves are attacking. He actually gets in those positions where you expect a striker to be, and he's got really good timing of the runs, really good positional play, and more often than a lot often he is found in those back post areas, and he's able to put a finish on. Unlike Serge Aurier, who's just different. He likes to get to the byline, likes to make crosses in, and that's how he likes to create chances. And actually, it's proven that Serge Aurier did create more chances per 90 minutes than Matt Doherty last season, and that just shows the different ways they like to attack. Serge Aurier created 0.11 expected assists per 90, compared to Matt Doherty, and he put a lot more. He creates a lot more chances. Serge Aurier creates 1.1 chance per game, compared to Matt Doherty per 90 minutes, and when you look at crosses in the box as well, Serge Aurier puts in 4.6 crosses compared to 1.5 for Matt Doherty, which shows the difference in how they like to attack, how different they are when they get into the final third. Serge Aurier always looks for that ball in the box, whereas Matt Doherty will more likely try to get in the box, look to play 1-2s, try to get on the end of things. That's the big difference. And it will be very interesting to see how it bears out, because looking at how Mourinho likes to set up his team, you would think a player like Serge Aurier might be more suited, because we like to defend in a 4 and not a 5 usually. Because Serge Aurier is more adept at crossing, it means he's not as deep into the opposition half. He's not in the box, which means if there was a turnover in possession, he would be more adept to getting back in position than someone like Matt Doherty, who would be arriving at the back post and who isn't as quick as Serge Aurier as well. So that's a difference maybe. We'd like to see how Matt Doherty adjusts. He's quite good in both penalty areas, but even given the fact that Doherty puts in a lot less crosses in than Serge Aurier, his actual accuracy when he does cross the ball is higher than Serge Aurier. So Serge Aurier puts in nearly 3 times as many crosses in per game than Matt Doherty, which is a lot. But in terms of accuracy, Serge Aurier's is 14% and Matt Doherty's is 15%. So that is actually quite interesting. So if Matt Doherty does increase the amount of crosses he puts in per 90, which he would be expected to do under this system that Mourinho likes to play, maybe he'll get more assists than he would be for Wolves. But if he adjusts his play, maybe we could be stunting his goal output and his attacking output that in terms of goals that he has been doing for Wolves. I'm not sure if he's going to be given the license to get as far into the box as he does for Wolves, because it's a bit like, as I described in a previous video, when Marcos Alonso was playing left wing back in the Chelsea system. He was almost like a winger. He was almost like a third forward at some states. When Chelsea were attacking on the right hand side, Marcos Alonso would always get into the box, always arrive at the back post, and he got a lot of goals and assists via that method. But when Lampard came in and Sarri came in and they moved to a back 4, all of a sudden his attacking output is stunted, and he's found out for the defender that he's not as good at defending in a back 4 as he is in a back 3, because there's a lot more responsibility of one-on-one defending in that role. And all of a sudden he gets found out, and Chelsea aren't so happy with him, and they want to sell him because his attacking output has been stunted because he's moving to a back 4, and his defending, which has never been great, is being found out. So that is the worry I have with Matt Doherty. Is his attacking output going to be stunted, or are we going to see him in this lopsided formation attack with as much freedom as he does for Wolves? When it comes to the defensive side of things, it's a bit harder to judge, because Doherty plays in a team for Wolves which presses a lot less than Tottenham. But when you look at the numbers, Aurier wins more tackles than Doherty, almost twice as many. He wins more interceptions than Matt Doherty. So Doherty's going to have to adjust his game a bit and start winning more tackles and more interceptions in this Jose Mourinho system. But one positive note I would say is Doherty is quite a proactive defender. He's not reactive, so he likes to get in front of defenders. He likes to preempt when a pass is coming, and he likes to do all these different types of things. So I think he could be very suited to Mourinho's system. But Serge Aurier maybe gets more flack than he deserves, because bearing out the statistics, he seems to match up to Doherty in the defensive statistics, although statistics defensively are harder to judge than they are from an attacking standpoint. But Aurier is also quite a proactive defender. He's also quite aggressive. He's more aggressive than Matt Doherty is, but that sometimes gets him in hot water, because he likes to be over aggressive. He's over exuberant, and that's how he can give away penalties and give away stupid fouls and get stupid cards, which is a lot of the criticism we've had of Aurier. But maybe the criticism be a bit unfounded, because he makes a lot of high profile mistakes, like giving away penalties against Liverpool, or making mistakes against Man United and Chelsea. But as in terms of consistency over a whole season, Serge Aurier actually hasn't been too bad. And despite some of those brain farts, he's actually fairly consistent, which you might be surprised. But we've seen with Doherty, he's consistently gets more of a goal threat than Serge Aurier is. He has more likely to score a goal, and he's more likely. And also one big element where Doherty is above Aurier is heading and aerial ability. Wolves like to aim their goal kicks at Matt Doherty because he wins a lot of headers. He actually wins 60% of his headers, and standing at 6 foot, you can see why. He's very tall, he's quite strong, and so he's quite good at set pieces. So that's a big element where Serge Aurier won about 50% of his headers. Doherty wins about 60. So that's a big element where Matt Doherty is above Serge Aurier. But by and large, we can see here that there are some pros and cons to signing Matt Doherty. Does he solve all our problems? It remains to be seen how he can adjust to the Jose Mourinho system. He definitely makes less mistakes. He didn't give away one penalty in the whole of last season in the Premier League, which compared to Aurier is a big upgrade. The big advantages is he's more likely to score goals. He's more likely to get in the box. He attacks in a different way than Serge Aurier. His crossing is actually more accurate, even though he crosses less. He's less likely to make mistakes, and he's inside the penalty area, and he's less likely, and he's more likely to win headers. However, Aurier is more aggressive in the tackle, more aggressive in the interceptions, and he puts in a lot more crosses and more likely to get an assist than Matt Doherty. So there's kind of a yin and yang. They're kind of opposites of each other in a way, Serge Aurier and Matt Doherty, but they both like to attack. They're both offensive fullbacks, and I'm hoping the system that we play shouldn't be too dissimilar to how Matt Doherty plays for Wolves, with a winger tucking in, taking away hopefully one of the fullbacks and leaving a lot of space for Matt Doherty to attack on that right-hand side. That should be a big element to how we play, and hopefully he can adapt very quickly. Shouldn't have too much of a bedding in period, and should be able to hit the ground running. But let me know in the comments below, are you happy with this signing? Do you think he's an upgrade on Serge Aurier, or do you think this signing is just a cheap option which we can make money selling Aurier? Do you think he has been one of the best fullbacks consistently over the past couple of years? And are you excited by his signing? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you like our content. And as always, come on you Spurs!